A tempestuous Sunday in Perth ended with England on the brink of surrendering the Ashes. A fierce, winter wind blew all day, which had players digging into their cases for sweaters. The candlelight carols down by the River Swan were cancelled in the morning. There was certainly no chance of any candles staying alight, and there were more serious concerns that the stage and the lights would be blown away. To the despair of England fans at the WACA, the disruption to the cricket was surprisingly brief. Sometimes there was sun, sometimes showers, and always that wind howling across the ground. Amid the gales, Australia inexorably tightened their grip, declaring with a lead of 259 and then making clinical incursions into England's batting like an expert surgeon. At the close, the tourists were 13-24, still 127 runs away from making Australia bat again. Already England's experienced men were back in the pavilion with a pair of 14s, no more used to the team than they are in pontoon. Alistair Cook's tour, despite all the toil, but no sweat, in the nets has yet to take off, while Joe Root's Australian expedition took another turn for the worst. Of the four batsmen dismissed, Root's departure was the most exasperating. Perhaps the strain on the captain is telling, with the expedition on the brink of failure. In his eagerness to assert himself at the crease, Root chased the first delivery bowled by Nathan Lyon in the innings, the widest he has bowled in the series, and he was caught behind. He may, like Cook 4 years ago, be appreciating how lonely a job his can be. Unsurprisingly, the pitch looked a little livelier when the Australian bowlers took the field after resting up for the best part of 2 days. Mark Stoneman fell, caught behind, for his first single-figure score of the series in Hazelwood's first over. Cook clipped 2 leg side boundaries and looked sharp enough until a leading edge went back down the pitch, where an inspired Hazelwood dived to his right before completing a brilliant Tony-handed catch. Out came Root, steeling himself to regain the initiative. As ever, he began busily, whereupon Smith summoned up Lyon on a pitch that has been no more helpful to spinners than an umbrella in a hurricane. Incidentally, it seems that umbrellas are the latest item to be banned from Australian cricket grounds. Lyon's first ball was speculative, wide and on a good length, a nice sighter for the batsman, except that Root chose to drive it. The edge clipped the gloves and knee of the wicket-keeper before landing gently into the hands of a jubilant Smith at slip. That England avoided an immediate subsidence was down to James Vince and then a plucky partnership between the first innings heroes, Dorad Malan and Jonny Bairstow. Vince batted in princely fashion with barely an error. 12 boundaries fizzed from his bat in his 55, but then he was bowled by Stark. On this occasion Vince was blameless, since he was the recipient of the ball of the series, which cut from leg to off as if delivered by Derek Underwood in his pomp, but 25 miles per hour quicker. There was absolutely no disgrace in this dismissal. Thereafter Malan and Bairstow dug in impressively with few frills, except when Malan took 4 authentic boundaries from an over from Pat Cummins. Despite the cracks appearing down the middle of the pitch, as is usually the case here, fluent stroke play was still possible on this surface. Play was abandoned soon after 5 p.m. when the heaviest shower blew over, with England hoping for more of the same on the 5th day. Oddly, the 4th one began better than England could have hoped, given that Australia started it on 5,494. Mitchell Marsh was LBW to Jimmy Anderson's second delivery, then Smith, after a cunning review, departed in the same way as England's premier bowler, conjured a little movement from the Prindiville stand end. The Titans of Saturday were mortal after all. Then Stark was stranded mid-pitch and Australia had lost 3 wickets for 12 runs. They were still 158 runs ahead, but the complexion of the game had changed. Perhaps the old ball was reversing a little, which might justify not taking a new ball for an over or 2. But it is hard to explain why Root and, more pertinently, his 2 senior bowlers, declined to take it once Tim Paine and Cummins had begun to settle. So here was a case of England's 2 senior new ball bowlers not wishing to bowl with a new ball. There was a risk attached: the hard and shiny new ball can fly. But there was also a potential reward: the new ball against lower-order batsmen might produce the 3 quick wickets required to keep Australia's lead under 200. The old guard was not prepared to take that risk. Sometimes old pro-canniness can give weight to negativity, sometimes Root may be required to challenge the wisdom of the old duopoly. So the Australian pair were able to add 93 as England, with a soft old ball in their hands, settled for damage limitation rather than the pursuit of wickets. The decision to persist with the old ball was a declaration of non-intent. After lunch, Cummins became the 3rd LBW victim for Anderson, and then Lyon holed out to his 3rd ball. Anderson remains England's best bowler, but this must have been the least satisfying four-wicket haul of his career. From the depths of 5,617, Australia were able to declare on 6,629.